Oh boy. Jump on in, everybody.
Here, come over here, dude. Come over here.
Put yourself in the microphone.
Come get some, bro. Come get some.
Put it in
Get over
the
here.
microphone.
I'm just going through the emails to find a question. So one Joshua writes in.
Shout out.
Could you talk about working with an ownership group versus single owner style? What were some of the fallouts issues that came up that y'all had to deal with? What were some things that you foresaw and worked around, and were there ever any instances where I read really well out loud?
Were you ever alone in the dark?
When you
Today, Junior.
Ha 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 ha.
And were there ever any instances where there were too many cooks in the kitchen and had to pivot? Also, how did you determine who does what and how salaries work?
Well, I make the most because I get the most haircuts, and
It's all haircut related.
That's haircut related.
Who gets the most haircuts?
It's a life expense thing.
I get the second most haircuts.
Charles actually barely gets paid. And you can tell when you look at his pictures. 0 haircuts going on. It's just haircutless.
Isn't that how you tell somebody's really rich?
Right. It's just like, if your hair's all fucked up, it's like, you don't have the disposable income to be getting those haircuts, bro.
gosh.
Just let it ride. Just disheveled.
Some people just really can cheat the system because they get good at home haircuts with friends.
Where is Chuck? I'm going to text him right now, actually.
Chuck, do you come here?
Chuck. You coming today, Chuck?
I got
he's
a
getting
great
a
video.
haircut
I
for
say,
sure.
yeah, dude. Today he missed it. Hold on, this is good. Let me find that video that you posted about.
Chuck's hair
haircut,
video.
dude. Exactly.
Dang, you have that? I got it somewhere, saved somewhere.
Oh yeah,
it's
I got it somewhere.
the best it's ever been.
It's pretty good. We should get his approval and see if we can post.
Jeez. He's always a sport.
He is always a sport. That one's almost like. Remember with the flower, the sunflower I sent you, and it's like somebody like tied it up in the storm, and then they put the singer on it. It's all you're here.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That was so funny.
I remember that one.
That one.
The chandelier
All
song.
right, here's one. How do you say no?
Oh, is this the one about like washing a cup? Did we talk about that one? Rapid fire?
We probably have talked about some form of saying no. I haven't answered that question specifically.
Okay.
Definitely not.
That's why I phrased it as saying no, because
Yeah.
it's. I feel like if you say, how do you say no to a guest, you guys would say like, don't say no.
Don't say no. You almost never say no.
But like, I'm thinking of, I was in the cafe one day and there was a man who was in there just cursing at people
Nice.
and like literally walked up to somebody's face and like was flipping them off. It was clear that like
Employees or
it was a guest,
yeah.
and it was just very clear that like
An employee of ours
cool,
is-
you're
no,
not
no. I mean, he was flipping
know,
off
I'm
employees or
kidding.
he's flipping off guests.
Team members out here.
Yo, guests.
Everybody.
And it's like, cool, he should not be in here. So it's like, at this point, it's like, we need to say no to him.
Sure. That's even that's a different than no. That's like a
He's not
protect
really
the
a guest.
culture and the people.
He's just
He's a bad
doing
guy.
some things.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
he's
an
on
off
his own
day.
trip.
he's in, but it's, that's kind of like the most extreme
Yeah.
point of this question. But it's
Those
just
ones
like,
feel easier than the people who are trying to engage with what you're doing and have a request that you can't oblige.
yeah, I guess it's kind of a spectrum.
Sure.
Where it's just like, how do you give a guest bad news? And sometimes it's going to be really easy to give a guest bad news. Sometimes it's going to be something that like, you know, they need to hear. And sometimes it's going to be like, you know, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
In the case of the person who's cussing at your guests and flipping people off and yelling, that's just a hard, you got to go, man.
Yeah.
This is
Pretty straightforward.
unacceptable. You got to go. Let me walk you out. Here's the door this way.
Yeah.
Still open hand and everything, but you just kind of guide them out the door.
Yeah.
It's that
Stay with them
That one's
directly.
not tricky. California solves a lot of the quirky problems for you because we have so many laws
Oh, yeah.
about food safety and stuff. So the person who wrote in, I remember, was asking about
Yeah,
washing, like,
And washing
a
their
guest
cup or
washing,
whatever.
yeah, washing a guest cup for them.
Using milks that were not ours specifically that come in their own like packaging.
Somebody brings in their
a jar.
weird fringe, like oat milk that they husk themselves on the
Human-
farm
human
and
milk.
grind it down with mortar and pestle and steep it for
100%.
13 hours.
Listen, I milked the best
Grass-fed
this morning.
then extract
mother's
it.
colostrum.
I've got raw sheep's milk from my farm.
Yeah.
It's legit.
It's a little goaty still, but
got
it's
up at
good.
4.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
kind of gamey, but you know, once you steam it, it really activates the richness,
ASMR, yeah.
and it makes the coffee just.
It pops. It really pops.
Yeah, all of
That's
those
fresh.
things are easy health code outs in California, because California, and people know about California health code.
Yeah.
Or it's very, 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 very tight. So in those instances, it's generally just be as nice as you possibly can. And still, while not saying the word no, it's like, can you wash my cup for me? Can I bring in this? I have this milk. Can you steam
Wish
it?
I could, dude. I
No.
really wish I could.
Yeah, right. Like, no, you don't ever lead with no. You lead with the alternative. You know,
If we lived in a different state, I
Yeah,
could.
man. Of all
We
the
weren't here.
things. I feel like another one that people, they talk about sometimes in de-escalation classes, but dealing with those challenging folk who come in and are not trying to get anything whatsoever, but they're either trying to stay or use the Wi-Fi or the bathroom. And downtown in Santa Cruz, we had a lot and have a lot of, what do we call it? What's this refuge town? There's another word for it. Where
Sanctuary?
Sanctuary
We're a
city.
sanctuary
Yeah.
city.
So us in like San Francisco, right? So we have a lot of passers through who are unhoused, and they, a lot of them are nice and all, but there are a pretty strong amount that kind of bring a lot of energy that is less than delightful to be around, unfortunately. And one of the best ways to deal with somebody like that when they come into your cafe is to actually give them all the positive attention and nonstop positive attention until they're like, I don't like it here. This is too uncomfortable. I think there's two ways to think about that. There's one, they're so used to being ignored, which kind of sucks and is sad. And then the other side is, if they are there for the right reasons, then they're going to oblige to your connection. So that's a win-win. But what happens often is they're like, they're looking to kind of sneak in, do something, whatever. Sometimes it is going to your bathroom and take a little shower, unfortunately, and clean up. And oftentimes it's left funky. So what we would do is we just, hey, welcome in. And they start walking towards the bathroom, like, hey, come on over. We can get you started at the register over here. How's your day going? No. And they kind of try to ignore you and like, hey, no. Like, you can't use the bathroom unless you come have a drink or get something over here. So here we go. We got you. And, there's often like, oh, I'm just going to use the bathroom first. Like, yeah, totally. But we can't do that here. We got to get you going and then we'll set you up. And again, it's not our perfect and most fun thing to do, but it is the most fun way to deal with somebody who you oftentimes know you're going to have that experience where as a team member, your job is, oftentimes to be like, protect those rules that the leadership has put into play, and that's one of them. So I remember we got into that a lot, and it turned out to be so much more fun. It almost turned into a game, and it's not like you're definitely not being mean and like overtly over the top in terms of super cheesy with them, unless they start getting kind of snappy back at you, and then it can get a little funny. But at the end of the day, that's where you start there. And most of the time they're like, I don't like being front and center. I don't want to buy anything. I'm going to go somewhere else because this fight is easier at another place.
right. I just want to sneak under the radar.
I don't want to be seen. I want to use the bathroom or whatever. Take some cream in a cup.
I can't remember the last time I actually had to kick someone out. I mean, mostly because I haven't been a production barista for a very long time, but I'm trying to think of
We had some at Portola for sure. Downtown
the
a little
wildest
bit.
time. It's funny because some
A
of the
little
people,
bit over here at Swift, but not often.
some of the people you have a relationship with, like Rainbow, she would come
Nice human
in,
being.
super nice, East Side legend. It's like
Wild human. But Rainbow would buy stuff.
sometimes,
Like a hot chocolate. Yeah, that's true. Not all the time.
yeah.
That one's a weird one for sure because she also knows everybody, and most of the time she's really nice, and then she has those flip off moments where she just kind of goes off.
Yeah. Rainbow is, let's paint a picture of Rainbow. Rainbow's got her bike. She's around the east side. I don't know if she's actually homeless or not. It's unclear.
She's chosen to be, but she has money.
And she knows all the people in the community, but she'll post up outside of a business for hours, 5 or 6 hours. And sometimes makes a scene and sometimes doesn't.
If you're nice to her, she's super, super nice to you. If you give her any sort of reason to think that you don't like her, then she snaps back louder than she needs to.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can totally understand how it's uncomfortable for a lot of guests to have that activity going on.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, like when she would post up outside of Chill Out, which was this burrito shack across the street from my house,
Yeah.
she was not buying anything.
No.
And a lot of times she was making a scene. I was cool with her because she really liked my dog.
Yeah.
So I'd go see her, and she had dog treats, and she'd give Gino treats, and we always had good rapport.
She watched Surfers too, and then I was nice to her when she came to the shop. So she always just like and she remembers you too. That was the part. She like knew me from surfing, and she if you've ever seen The Labyrinth, there is a character in The Labyrinth that's kind of like the hoarder character that like it's not a cart, but you know what I'm saying? They, like she visits.
I know what you're talking about.
She visits the person who's like almost like with the old Greg. Like I have this is good. That was kind of she was like a migratory human in town who carried everything with her and was super nice, but kind of just had that. I mean, if you don't have a house to live in and you kind of genuinely will put up a little tent behind the dumpsters by the hook and a surf spot, it's like you're gonna have a dirty demeanor. It was true. It was dust, like literal dust on her.
Yeah, those ones are the trickier ones for me when it's someone that you do have some sort of relationship with. They're in the community, even though they're it's just interesting. I
actually had a pretty gnarly one once, and it was somebody. I'm not going to say their name because there's no need to.
It was Mark Gessler.
No, but it's somebody
before
who's
he
like
got a job,
who's like pretty in general with the community, both at the time with the cafe and not, but they had like a party at their house and a bunch of team members of our team were there and nothing crazy happened really, but he wanted to blame a couple of them for stuff, and I was in charge. I was in leadership, and he kept on coming in and kind of bringing like loud and accusatory language to the team. It was, and he's quite a bit
blaming them for things that happened at the party
at his house. Yeah, specifically at his house.
Like you broke my mother's vase.
It was even something lamer than that. It was truly, it was like a little, anyways.
Scattered my grandmother's ashes all over the place.
It was a little bit as trivial as like my friend had a beer in the fridge and somebody drank my friend's beer, and it was that analogy is actually true to what it was. It was like my friend had a thing very small, and somebody here stole it, and it was like. It was truly like an alcoholic situation like that. And so I'm like, I remember having to be like, hey man, like we should go talk outside. And we went out in the back and I was like, you cannot be doing, I had to be really direct with him. I was like, you can't be doing that in here. And he was like, what are you going to do? And he like got all intense. I was like, you're not going to do anything. Like this is not happening. It was a weird moment for me because he was a lot bigger, but he was also a nice guy. And I was like, you're really acting out of character. But it was one of those, we had to just go outside and they did this and they did that. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I have nothing to do with that. But you cannot be doing that in here. It's public. There's all these people listening to you and the team is working. Like, this is not the place for it. And he's like, they better bring it. And I was like, this is not happening here. So if you guys want to talk about it afterwards, whoever these people are, like, go for it. And then he was talking to me. Yeah, he's all, and I'm going to have to come back and I'm going to bring this. And I was like, you're not going to come back and you're not going to do anything. Like, period. And I was like, looked right at him. And it was just one of those moments where it was like, no, this is just cannot happen. And
wild.
This was before I was even tough, dude. So I was like,
you're skinny?
I was super skinny, dude.
Skinny guy going against big guy.
This is Verve days. This was on 41st Avenue at Verve.
Oh yeah,
in the back. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was one of the regulars.
Oh man.
Yep. And whatever. But it was a weird time, and I remember having to do that and being like, that was a direct no. But that was a direct no to like protect the team. Like, this is just not happening in here. You cannot do this. Everybody's watching you. It's loud. It's uncomfortable. No fucking way. Nobody knows how to respond to you. Let's stop right now. That just brought up some memories. I'm so scared right now.
I'm so scared right now.
Amygdala response strong.
It's funny. I remember some of the things. I didn't deal with it too much in Santa Cruz, but when I worked in San Francisco, there's all kinds of shenanigans. I remember one part of the, not official part of the training, but it just best practices when we were looking at, okay, here's, you take this trash out, that trash out. If you're in the bathroom, don't squish the trash down because there might be needles in there.
Oh, yeah.
So just take the trash out.
Totally.
People go in and just do drugs.
Totally.
They just go in, shoot up, and leave. So we had to be really active about policing that. Mm-hmm. So that was just you know how Ritual was. It's like this shotgun
Yeah, that
all
was
the way
the
to the back.
times.
So you'd really have to be active about intercepting people that, you know, I mean, that looks strange is what you're doing. You're judging
I know
them.
that's
You're
the
like,
thing. It's
this
like nowadays
person-
you're not supposed to judge
this
anybody,
person-
but that was what you were supposed to do back then.
I mean, if you have a gut reaction that something's wrong, 9 out
You're
of 10
off the
times,
right.
that's probably right. It's
Yeah.
like you work in guest service. You see your regulars every day. You see the people that come into the store.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to act like this is true, but they're demographics of people that go into certain businesses. And it's something,
Totally.
and it's not just, you know,
Off energy,
It's not
too.
just clothes or how they look. It's energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to describe to where your gut's like, something's wrong.
Yeah, this is a
That's-
weird
That's
vibe.
not good, you know? So I'm going to check in on that.
yeah.
And we would do the same things that you described doing, which is just be overly nice and communicative as possible. Basically, don't let that person get past the bar
Yeah.
into the back of the store without being, hey, what's up, man? Come on, we got
Yeah.
you. No big deal. Bring it in right here.
You are the limelight here.
Yeah, it's like, and everybody's looking at him.
Yeah.
And we had a really protective guest base there too.
Yeah,
which
dude.
was-
that was the times.
which was really awesome. One of my favorite moments there was we get our tips jacked on a kind of a regular basis. And one time there's this dude in line who was looking kind of weird, and he was standing in line. Like, he didn't try to come in, stood in line, got to the front of the line, just hand in the tip jar, grabbed all the money, and went to go out. And this woman, who is probably 5'3", super skinny, came in every day, stepped out of line, cut him off, and just starts yelling at him, finger in his face. You fucking put that shit back right now. You put that back in the tip jar. These kids work so hard. Fuck you. I can't believe you're doing this. And just ran him, dude. And he was just like, ah. He just fucking put the money down and left. And I was like, yes,
Oh, that's
dude.
my dog right there.
Coffee's on us today. Thank you so much. This is great. I feel so protected. It was amazing.
You flip the screen around 15%, please.
I'm all, this
One
is
more
gonna-
question for you
Just gonna ask you a few questions.
on the way out.
Oh my
10,
gosh.
15, 20.
Can we kill?
Choose,
Can we
choose,
kill that
choose.
lingo just right now? Can nobody ever
Just
say
one
that
more question
again?
for you.
Oh.
This just has a few questions for
questions.
I'm not
you.
going to ask you. The computer's gonna. Okay,
It's
it's programmed.
it's the lamest thing ever. It's just say what it is. There's an optional tip screen. This is an optional tip screen. Just call it what it is. This is going to
Next
ask
up.
you a few questions. It's like you're asking for money, and that's fine. It's a part of the game, right? Tips are a big part of a barista's take home. We all get it. I've been there. I understand the power of tips. Love spending my tips. Love making the tips. Got mixed feelings about tips, but let's
he's
just
giving
call
you a
it-
tip right now.
Let's just
No
call it
problem.
what it is. Optional tip screen. If you want a tip, fucking let it fly, bro.
Hey, dude,
Give- show me the money.
If you want to make it fun, you could turn around and be like, and one more choose your own adventure screen, and then just walk away, dude, because that's what I would say for sure. And they'd be like, oh, that's funny, 20. You're welcome. You want to make some more money? Make it cheeky, dude. For
Hey.
here or everywhere. People hate it and love it.
It's funny.
Para llevar.
It feels so. It feels like you're trying to trick someone who obviously knows the program. You know, the guest knows the program.
Yeah.
They know what's coming, and you're just like, it's gonna ask you some more questions. Oh gosh, just stop, dude. Just stop.
You got Wiser
Wiser
thinking
got
about how
something to
to.
say.
No,
No,
he's just
I
thinking
don't-
about how to
it's-
reprogram it and
I'm
fix
just
it.
thinking about like our
As like, what's our team have to say? When maybe we need an 8th step to service, don't we?
No, it's like our
Oh.
our setup is a little interesting just because we have to physically do something with the POS. It's like
Right.
we have to flip it over.
Yes, it's terrible.
Versus like a place like that have secondary screens.
Oh, I mean,
Oh,
guest
you
facing
mean shout out to Square
guest
versus
facing
Revel?
screen is amazing.
Hey, we're it with you, Revel. Can you fix it?
I want the guest facing screen so bad because I do think that step is just completely obnoxious and feels antiquated. There's no reason to do it, you know?
That's why I'm thinking. I was just sitting here thinking through the experience from our concierge where, like, you have to physically do something for them to even see the screen. So it's like you're asking them and physically doing something. So I was just thinking through the process.
Yeah.
Of like,
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Because technically there are two questions. Sure, there's the tip question, but then there's like the do you want a receipt question, which is on you. Also, sometimes if it's over a certain amount on a credit card, there's a signature screen. So it's kind of like this weird, like,
Yeah.
it's not a, there kind of has to be a catch-all thing to say because sometimes there are multiple things specifically for our setup.
Yeah, I don't think speaking on it is wrong. I
Yeah.
think it's hilarious when it feels like people are trying to hide the intention of what they're doing behind this ambiguous. It's just going to ask you some questions. Like, oh,
Just some
ask me some
questions.
questions.
I wonder what it's gonna be.
Am I taking
Oh,
a
man.
survey here? Do you want to know
You
how I
flip it
rate
around,
the
it's like,
service?
yes, my favorite color is blue. How
Is
did you
it?
know?
Oh.
Hilarious if that
Which-
was it. It was like different each time.
Which espresso do you prefer in your
That would
latte?
actually be way more funny. It'd be like, choose
Oh.
one, and then it's like the different tip screens are actually just colors. And then they're like, damn it, my favorite color
Red,
is the most
blue,
favorite color.
green, yellow, violet.
And then the person who's colorblind's like,
Just do a callback. I'm sure there's a California law against that.
I'm sure there is. I think we just totally got in trouble already thinking about it. No can do. I'm sitting in the classic Tiki Room sinking chair over here, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, some of the chairs in the roastery just slowly
I
slowly
know.
sink.
Did you know that that's one of the classic old school bar trick jokes is to have the sinking chair? Have you ever been in one of those?
No.
Oh, dude, they're amazing. There's 3 at Trader Sam's, but there's also like there's
What's
a few
Trader
other.
Sam's?
Trader Sam's is the bar at the Disneyland Hotel, the Tiki bar there.
Oh, okay, I don't think
but-
I've ever been there.
Isn't that what you probably have to have? It's like the
at
tiki,
the
the
Disneyland
only tiki
Hotel.
bar. Yeah, it's
Oh, yes, I have.
yeah.
Yes,
You've been there with
totally.
me for sure. But
Yeah.
even there's a few other bars they do it, and it's basically like everybody sits at their normal stool, and behind the bar is like a button you push, and it's seriously like a eighth of an inch a minute, and all of a sudden you just are like your neck is you're like, wait a second, you're like looking up at the person you're sitting next to, and it's like, and then they're like,
Dad.
they're shrinking. It's like a whole thing. Everybody look at the short person. It happened. The first time it ever happened. I don't know where we're getting this. How did I even come up with that? Oh, I'm sitting in a chair
'cause
that's
you're
sunk
sitting
on
in
me.
a shrinking
Yeah,
chair
my
right
chair
now.
is low. I'm shrinking.
It'd be almost more awesome if it went the other way.
It got
You're
super
just slowly
tall.
getting taller.
Your, like knees are getting smashed
All
out
of
of
a
the bar all of a sudden.
You're just like 2 heads above
Like,
everybody
what
else.
the hell just
What
happened,
in the-
man?
What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Why is he sitting so high? What's his
Stupid
problem?
sinking chair, dude. I'm so
Sinking
low
guy.
right now. All time low.
Okay, so if people come into the shop that you don't want in the shop, you just give them a sinking chair or a
Yeah,
super
and then-
tall chair.
Make 'em-
It's like one of those uncomfortable chairs where it's slightly slanted forward.
we could launch them out
It's a
too,
different
like
version.
catapult style.
Ejectocito, cuz.
Yeah, we could get like what is it when they put the airbag underneath the seat? Have you seen that prank?
I mean, I've seen Too Fast, Too Furious where
Do
they
they do
eject
that?
everybody with NOS. Yeah.
Oh no! This is like a horrible prank where it's
Like
like it's sitting in the chair in a huge armchair, and the friends punk their friend and launch him out, and he like smashes into the ceiling.
Airbags are
it's
dangerous.
so legit. I know it was so powerful. I'm sure it splattered his spine. Shout out to spine splatters.
Your spine.
How do you
has
say
been
no?
How do you say no to spine splatter? Just say no.
Just say
Just
please
say no,
don't.
kids.
How do you say no to that? I never say no. I always say, I got this for you.
Oh
I got
gosh.
this for you.
What are other ways you might say no to a guest? I mean, it. I think you covered it so simply. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
just
just-
try to keep us on topic a little. I guess is like
We're back here. You
Yeah.
just lead, you lead with the alternative. You lead
Yeah.
with what you can give
Right.
them instead
It's
of saying
always that.
no to what you can't. And that was just something that we did since way back in the day. I mean,
right. Like how about the syrups?
At Ritual, we didn't have any syrups, but
Yeah.
at Verve, we had the one that we made in house.
And now we had the
Sweetener.
So people would always come in and ask for a vanilla latte. That was the most popular thing. We didn't have vanilla
Couple
latte.
banana lattes
We had
here
our
and there.
we had our house made syrup. I can't even remember what we called it. So if someone comes in,
That was what it was. We
I
have
want
a
a-
house syrup.
I want a
That's
vanilla
kind of a mixture
latte.
of vanilla and caramel.
flavor. So instead of saying we don't have vanilla latte, you just say, "Oh, we got this awesome house made syrup. Make you a latte with that. It'd be amazing."
Yep. It's
You're
kind of
gonna
got
blow your
flavors of
mind.
vanilla and caramel. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, it's
And they're like,
caramely,
okay.
it's sweet,
Okay.
it's delicious.
It's sweet.
That's fine. And they have it like, oh my gosh,
Oh my goodness,
This is good.
great. Yeah,
What
they
is
just
this?
want
And
they
you're
just
all
want sweet creamy.
vanilla.
They want sweet creamy latte.
And if your coffee tastes good, boy oh boy, does it accentuate the flavors.
Yep,
deep
100%.
varietal
I mean,
characteristics.
that's the easiest way to do it.
There's kind of something in there about serving with confidence.
Big
You
time.
got to have confidence. If you don't have confidence, you're fucked. All around, it's over. You can't be great. You can't be great in hospitality without confidence. No chance.
Right.
Sorry, that was a mini tangent. Go,
You're
keep
fine.
going.
No, I'm just because
Truth is out there.
The truth is out there.
X Files.
there's like I've been in places where we're working with clients and we just are always saying yes to them because it's just like, well, if we say no, they're going to go to somebody else. And there is something about saying no from a position of expertise to where it's like somebody's coming to you asking a question. It's not that they're asking for it to happen, but they're asking for an opinion. Excuse me. And when you say no from a position of confidence or authority or expertise, they might understand there, they might learn that, oh, you're right, I actually didn't want that. So there's something.
Sure. Here's a practical example, maybe.
Yeah.
You can tell me if I'm on the right path or the wrong path. So if guest comes in, they're looking to buy some whole bean coffee. They want a naturally processed coffee because they love the big fruit bomb. You don't have a natural on the menu at the time. If you don't have the confidence, you might say, and you don't know the menu or you don't feel like you're a professional, you'll be like, we don't have any naturally processed coffees, but there's we got some other coffees. Already the person's just like, okay, I don't want whatever you have. Versus someone who has confidence, knows the menu. It's like, okay, cool. We've got this really awesome, it's not a natural, but it's a wash coffee from, so-and-so. It's got these characteristics. If you love those aggressively fruity flavors, you're really going to love this coffee.
Yeah.
That's preferred, and you can only do that if you have some sort of confidence and you're able to speak on those things.
Yeah, I think there's the other part. If you wanted to sum it up for a lot of people too, if one, you got to just be confident, but I think the other part is just have a clear understanding of why the answer is the answer that it is. So, I mean, in the example of whole bean coffees, we actually decided at the beginning of our company that we would always have a natural for people like so, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even just knowing, like if our team knew that we would always have a natural on the menu no matter what, then it can be a quick conversation too. I mean, this is a little bit of a tangent, obviously, based on your example, but somebody can come in and be like, do you have a naturally processed coffee? It's like, yeah, we do actually. We always have one naturally processed coffee on the menu, and it's this one. In that same regard, if you have no clue why, I'd say a lot of people have, that's where confidence can come into question, is it's like, you want to be able to answer somebody, you want to be able to feel knowledgeable and articulate, and then if they ask you a question that you actually have no idea as how to answer or why the answer is the way it is, if you get any follow-up question, then you get to oftentimes kind of feel like a dumbass, unless you're really, really confident, right? So confidence is key, number one, to be able to roll with the punches if you are knocked off center, which is cool, because then you can just be like, you know what, I actually don't know, let me go figure that out, and you can be confident and save the day. Or you can sit there and be really unconfident and know that like, oh, I don't know everything about this, you know what I'm saying? So you could do two things as leadership. You could really help somebody or anybody by way of having as many whys and understandings behind whatever questions may come up, and that's a bunch of due diligence. Prior to that, you're right. You just got to be really confident in being able to say, I can help this person no matter what.
But I think one of the things that you're tapping into is the way I see confidence. It's not just like this innate personality trait.
Right.
Confidence comes from competence. It comes from knowing your shit and knowing the deeper whys, like you're talking about. So another example from our cafes that happens. If someone comes in and says, ooh, I want espresso. I really love single origin espresso. I'll have whatever single origin espresso you have. We don't have single origin espresso available, but we don't lead with that.
We do accidentally right now. But
sometimes.
Not often, though.
Sometimes we do, yeah.
Wilson?
Maybe we're through it, but yeah, we had Wilson by itself for a minute.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, though. Chris is right.
So
99% of the time,
99%
it's not a single origin.
not a single origin espresso. So we have the Best Friends blend on tap. The Answers our flagship espresso, goes in all of our milk-based beverages. It's the coffee that we brew on tap all the time, and it's that modern version of classic espresso. It covers 90% of your bases for most people. But for the nerds, we got the Best Friends blend, which is really designed in the style of a single origin espresso. Highlights a lot of our Best Friends partners in Honduras, and if you don't know how to approach that, you might just be like, we don't have single origin espresso. And then again, you're crash and burn before you even got started. It's like, well, we actually have our Best Friends blends, which highlights these producers. It's single origin style espresso, lighter roast, bigger extraction, really juicy, sweet flavor, clarity, all the things that you love out of single origin espresso. You're going to love the Best Friends blend. I'm putting that in right now. What else do you want, bro?
Oh,
do you
one
want
more
a second
bonus
one?
fact? Bonus fact?
You want
holistic improvements in life. In the origin, it's a big opportunity.
It's no big deal that we just donate $1 for every pound of Best Friends coffee sold. All right.
So have some.
The Best Friends Club is real. You
All
can
right.
make it a 1-in-1 if you want to try it in milk too.
There you go. Look at that.
You know,
How many of you are salivating right now over not only the flavors, but the
you want what I
opportunities?
have.
You want
You
what I have.
want what I have. Confidence and
It's not what you
expertise.
asked for, but it's what you want.
It's what you want. Yeah. That's the game.
Hey, what's it going to take to get you into this Plymouth Cruiser today?
Look, I still remember that. It was 1994. We were driving a 80-something Ford Tempo. So here's cars in my family, okay?
Oh, okay.
I was the
This
first
is like, is this going to be a story?
I was the first child born. We had
in America.
ever, okay? Vampires are real. I am the child. We had a yellow Ford Pinto,
Fuck of the
2-door, that was just fuego. And then my brother was born, and you got to get rid of the Pinto because you're not going to put 2 kids in the back of a car that
Will
is known
explode.
for having an exploding gas tank. One's okay.
Not unless you get that
2,
booster seat I was talking
we're not
about.
going to lose 2.
Launch them out.
So then we moved up to some 84, 88, I don't know. It must have been 84 Ford Tempo. Ooh, a nice 4-door sedan. And then in
Yeah,
94 made the big move to minivan. And I remember being at the dealership and the guy asking my mom, "What's it going to take to get you to drive this thing home today?" And I was thinking, "Oh my gosh,
What a line, dude.
We're fucked.
What's it
It's
gonna
over.
take?
What's it going to take?"
That's how you know you've given up all.
What
What's it gonna
what kind of question is that anyway? Because you know he's got some fixed things that he can do. Like, what's my mom gonna say? Well, just drop the price, $10,000. I'll
Yeah,
take it
be
home, no
like-
problem.
Yeah.
That's what it's
You know
gonna
it's
take.
going to take every discount you're allowed to give me. Don't short me
It's
on
gonna
that.
take more than you can afford, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
Ferrari.
Zeege.
What's it gonna take? Well, you just give me the keys and then it's done.
Yeah, dude.
How much is that coffee? It's kind of expensive. It's
What's it
$100
gonna
a
take?
pound.
What's it gonna take?
How
to
about
get-
90? I can't do 90, but I know you really want it. What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take for me to get you to take this bag home?
Gotta
Let's
hit my
see.
quotas.
Let's. What were you gonna drink?
Hey, what was
okay?
your mom's way of saying no to that?
Couple
You know
of
what I'm
lattes. Well, we bought the car, so
saying? Mom didn't say
I
no
was,
to that
I was
one.
so psyched. I don't know what it took. I don't know.
Yo, are
What,
these captain's chairs? Fuck
I don't
yeah.
know what kind of deal we made. You know, who knows? 94 Dodge Caravan, green. What a car!
Oh man.
Oh, man,
Those
it
were
was
the moments.
incredible.
Those are good. We never got to that size car.
Oh, it was so sick. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, this thing's dope.
Straight up Mazda 626 for life,
Even
dude.
after I got my own car, which I was really excited about, the Caravan was just much more practical. Going on a skate trip with 6 guys. Mom,
Loaded up.
could I borrow your car?
This thing have my friend had a Previa once. We tow a boat behind that thing.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, minivans are unmatched
Oh, dude.
for good
Actually,
times.
shout out to John at Steelhead. He currently has a Previa.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. And
Living
he
the
cherried
life.
it out. And I think he's put some 10s in there. He's straight up G-Wagon that thing.
Dude, note to everybody who's just slumming it. Start your own business. You can enjoy the fruits of your labor.
That's a 97 Previa.
Previa.
It's maybe a
Get
2000.
it,
I don't
bro.
remember what it was.
What's the matter? Did you hit somebody with the Previa?
Dang. Say no to that. You're never going to say no to that.
The original glass egg.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Man,
So,
what a great podcast.
Hey everyone, that's the podcast for the week. Thanks so much for listening. If you heard something that inspired you, or if you heard something that gave you more questions than answers, send us an email to podcast@catandcloud.com. And if you're looking to know more about us, then head to our website at catandcloud.com, where you can find everything we have to offer. A great place to start would be The Answer, our house coffee that's right for any occasion. Or the Best Friends Blend, a coffee that tastes just as good as the good it does by donating $1 per pound back to our partnering producers. Also, if you're feeling extra friendly, connect with us in the usual places, like YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere that's hip. All right, that's it. Thanks for being awesome, everyone, and we'll be back next week.